health organizations' role in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus. Everybody knows what's going on there.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Giving you guys another update on COVID-19. Just a discussion of what President Trump said recently in a video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for the notification of the uploads. And those of you are returnees, you ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. No, no, no. Alright, cool. So, quite recently, President Trump, I think it was yesterday, addressed the American nation, and actually he addressed the WHO organization, which is the World Health Organization. Now, if you watched my last update on COVID-19, I spoke about the WHO organization being linked to United Nations and how I said about their logo, I didn't like it. I also didn't like the fact that Bill Gates was has some ties with the World Health Organization. And actually, quite recently, in a addressal to President Trump, I think it was yesterday when he made the announcement on public TV for America, we see that Bill Gates, through Twitter, actually responded in regards to President Trump's announcement and message. So, here we go. So, the very first thing is that I see is that President Trump actually accuses World Health Organization of mismanaging and covering up. This is a very severe allegation he's made, because to attach a mismanagement and covering up, you're saying that they intentionally had information that they could have dispatched out to various nations, UK and US, let's say for instance, concerning the severity of the issue at China. And this is one of the major discussions that I play at the moment. Now, I told you guys in the previous COVID-19 videos where I spoke about the fact that America does not like the fact that China have a hold financially and are starting to grow very, very influential. And one of the big things here is that this is a power play from America and from President Trump. Whether it's for the better good, I don't know, because they're all on a chessboard. There's a lot of players that look like they're against each other, ain't really against each other. It's just a game. So what we see is that America has set itself up against the WHO organization, and what actually President Trump is suggesting here is that the World Health Organization have been in cahoots, in bed with China to cover up the coronavirus coronavirus epidemic. Now, the question that you have to ask from this, there's nothing wrong with him. You wanna accuse him, that's up to you. You're president, you can do what you want. The key question here is though, if he is accusing them and he's right, why do they cover it up?
Affairs provide between $400 million and $500 million per year to the WHO. In contrast, China contributes roughly $40 million.
Because the amount of money that America give compared to China is significantly different. America give around about $400 million. $400 million, cuz, to the World Health Organization. Yeah, the World Health Organization is made up of members of nations who contribute finances to help the World Health Organization and their particular job. They were founded in 1948, which is actually around about the same time I believe Israel was also founded. But hey, I'm not going to speak too large about that. There's a lot of things that happened after 1940. When's the war? Was it 1948, 1946? Around that time, between that time, there's a lot of things that happened between that time. So I always pay attention when I see a time around then when something's being founded. Now their whole thing is to promote health, keep the world safe. They are involved in vaccine campaigns. This is where Bill Gates comes in. And one thing that's really interesting about Bill Gates, he set himself up to, like I said, to be a savior and a prophet of the world by saying, we had to invest in vaccines and stuff like that. This is a back end. This is what we call mafia. Yeah, like mafia. Yeah, where they set up a business. Yeah, to run the money through to make it clean. This is how I feel. It's me personally. This is how I feel Bill Gates' involvement in this is. Now, he may come to me face to face and we may talk. I hope we do. I can ask them some very permanent questions. Whether they will allow me to, I don't know. Maybe I'll get excommunicated. Maybe they might even kill me. Who knows? But all I do know is there's some real questions we need to ask in terms of the ties and the reason for why he so strongly started believing that a few years ago that there would be an epidemic, which then there was an epidemic, which then obviously just a few months before that they were doing a run through of what an epidemic, what would happen. But that's just coincidence, right? Cool. So yeah, they're involved in obviously vaccine campaigns, health and emergency primary care. And obviously US provides 15%. I want you to deep this. They provide 15% of 2018 to 2019 budget of who? So if this was about money, yeah, if this was about money for why the World Health Organization covered up China's coronavirus, it doesn't make sense. Because the money doesn't add up. China doesn't even give that much, not even close to. So why would they need to cover up that particular, why would they need to cover up on the basis of money? Except there's a larger who at play. Now you guys have probably watched Money Heist on Netflix. The professor has many plans, many plans. But the main plan is to get to somewhere, right? And this is one of them. So this is like a flare that's been thrown up. Because what you're seeing at the moment is that, okay, yes, America gave 400 million in terms of dollars, and UK are, I think, on the second highest in terms of giving money to the World Health Organization. So if it was really about the money that they are getting from the nations, surely they would back USA. So what would make you back China instead of USA, or USA and UK? Well, unless there was a bigger stake at play. There is. Vaccines. If we can create vaccines that are going to cost pharmaceuticals, and people will have to pay for, or it will contribute towards a larger goal in the future, then why not do this? Now, someone might call me a conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't make... Listen, just follow the logic. If it's solely about money, why the frick would you back China over USA? They give you 15% of your budget annually. 15%, UK included. That's almost 30%. Let's say between 20 and 30% of your budget. From all the 189 nations. Deep what you're saying. China contribute around about 40 million per year. If this was about money, this don't make sense. It don't add up. Would you take a 30% cut? Would you take a 15% cut? No, you wouldn't. So there is something deeper in this that we're actually seeing. And like I said, USA have a personal stake in this because China is not the... China's influence is growing. And we can see, and I told you about this in the last video. Now we're seeing how they influence the World Health Organization. There was a tweet that World Health Organization put out in a time when the coronavirus was spreading originally, and they said it wasn't potentially spreading. It wasn't spreading human to human at the time. And then they had to put another tweet out which they said actually it is. Now someone might say that's just a general mistake, or even there was a progression of things. But no, they knew about this beforehand. They knew about the fact that it was transferring from people to people. That's the whole point. They knew about this in 2019, before we got 2020. So there's been a cover-up here in terms of information that's been given, right? Now, here's the thing. President Trump says, obviously at 22 seconds, says, everybody knows what's going on. And let me tell you something.
Coronavirus, everybody knows what's going on there.
If you say that everybody knows what's going on, I don't know, Trump, I don't know what's going on, fam. I don't know what's going on. What do you mean? So as soon as he does that, what does it make people do? Instantly have to look a bit deeper. You know what's going on, right? That's going to cause some stir in people. Like, okay, cool. What's this thing that you're talking about? You know what's going on? Because I don't know. I know what I know here, but I don't know. Does he know something else that I don't know? You know what I'm saying? So again, it creates this mystery, but it also as well forces us to look closer at the World Health Organization. And then he says Trump has, and I remember as well that Trump has been calling this virus a Wuhan virus, right? So when he was doing that, I didn't like it because I thought it was quite racist, in a sense. I don't want to say racist, I think it was quite targeted and very specifically done to create a phobia against Chinese people. But in the larger scheme of things, I see why he was doing what he was doing. I don't agree with it. I now see why he was doing what he's doing. This was about, again, coming back round to this whole thing where he doesn't believe fully something about this particular coronavirus. I'm not saying that he doesn't believe it's real. Something about the coronavirus doesn't add up for him. Now, what's interesting is that UK followed USA's lead, or USA followed UK's lead. They both didn't shut the borders for a very long time. They didn't shut it immediately. And the reaction from both of them was similarly delayed. So now, does it mean that they're getting the same source of information from the same person? Are they in cahoots themselves? We've seen how buddy chummy US and UK are. You know, we saw how President Trump obviously even, you know, said to Boris, get well soon, etc., etc. We know how close they are. You understand? So there's something that they know that we don't know fully. Then, you know, we see that President Trump makes a clear definition that, you know, they send £400 million per year, $400 million per year versus China's 40 million. And he said obviously that the WHO didn't oppose travel bans from countries like China.
All of that money that goes to WHO. And maybe WHO will reform, and maybe they won't.
So the accusation that's been laid at their feet is that they didn't close the borders quick enough for flights and travel and stuff like that. And because of the World Health Organization's advice, that's why they didn't do it. So what they're saying now, is that President Trump is saying, listen, they're looking at potentially pulling away the funds from the World Health Organization. That's a big move. That's a huge move. That is a huge move. Huge. And then obviously he goes and says obviously new plans for opening up USA again. So USA are looking to potentially open up by May. You know, they're looking to get some states open. He's looking to have a discussion with some of the statesmen and get it opened. Because, and just back to my point about refusing to fund WHO, you know, by refusing to fund WHO is a power move. We give 15% of your budget, we take away our income, what you got left? Do you understand? It's like what you got left. What are you actually doing? Are you actually supporting the world or are you supporting China? That's what it actually says. It's like we will fund our finances, that means we will draw our power from you and take what you have, take back what we have. And you see how you can support China from there. And that's exactly what they're trying to say. And it's interesting, like I said, at the end of it, Bill Gates actually said, you know, it's foolish, basically said it's foolish to withdraw the funds when we're in a dire crisis right now, when the world needs togetherness. And I believe the world does need togetherness, but the world doesn't need people who are going to be, you know, subverting the course of justice, in the sense of getting out correct information to people so that people are not dying unnecessarily. But again, just like obviously his wife, you know, said obviously about the fact she felt like there were many dead bodies in Africa. Listen, I struggle to rock with the Bill Gates at the moment. I'm struggling to rock with him because I believe they know what they're doing and they have an agenda. But I'll leave it there, guys, just to update you on that little something, you get me? But like I said, watch out, because the whole thing is about UK, US, China, and they're stopping the influence of China growing. Do you understand? Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. More love, man. It's coming.